What's going on, good people? It's Iceberg. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody's day is off to a wonderful start. If you know, like me, you got a garden, so you getting yourself started out there in the garden. Of course, you know it's important to water at the consistent time, and for most of us, that watering happens in the morning. So hopefully you got your watering done. Hopefully you spent some time out there in your garden this morning. You know, like me, it's a place of peace. It's a place of comfort, tranquility. You can always go in the garden and escape from the rest of the world and all of the nonsense that's going on, especially first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning in the garden is definitely a peaceful place, hearing the birds. If you got other animals around, you probably see them moving as well. Yeah, you may have to deal with some spiders that have made some webs overnight, but that's also keeping some of the other bugs out of your garden. So it all comes with the territory, but you get the feeling and the benefit of growing your own food, knowing where it's coming from, knowing that all of the stuff that went into it is healthy. Right now, we got ourselves set up now where we're using all rainwater because we got ourselves a rainwater collection barrel. So now we're able to use rainwater for even our off days when the rain doesn't give us actual rain to water the plants. We can use that rainwater barrel to keep giving them the rainwater, and our plants are definitely seeming to enjoy that. Because you just never know what you're getting in your water source. If you're not on a well and you know that your well has good clean water, you just never know what you're getting. If you're on city water, of course, there's different chemicals and stuff that they add in to take out the bad stuff, and they figure a certain amount of chemicals is okay. So it's all about what you give your plants, all the nurture, the care that you give to them. But that's your little gardening tip for the day. I know you didn't ask for it. Getting on to other things. This weekend was Memorial Day. If you celebrate holidays, or even if you don't celebrate holidays, you probably still had a day off yesterday. So if today's the start of your work week, hopefully you're prepared for that, off to a good start. But Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer, so they say, because that's around the time where kids are going to start getting out of school. People are going to start going on summer vacations. All of those different things are going to take place, so they call it the unofficial start of summer. And with that being the case, hopefully everybody is out there being safe, have good, responsible plans for their summer. If they are going to be taking their kids on vacations or anything like that, hopefully it's something that's going to be fun for you and the family to enjoy, get your bonding in. But it's also something that is responsible. Because we had a conversation on the Homie Ears to the Street panel yesterday, and I shared it yesterday as well. So you can either look in my feed, the community wall feed, and see where I shared it, or you can go straight to his page. And whenever I jumped on the panel a little bit later into it, what we were discussing was a situation that is happening on YouTube, but in real life with a person who is on YouTube. And a lot of the conversation that we were having yesterday in reference to it is about the responsibility or lack thereof that some children seem to want to take once they reach the age of adulthood. And it was a good dialogue, a good conversation, good discussion. Of course, some people during the discussion, they have biased feelings. We all have our own biases based on our own experiences with people and, with other situations. So there's definitely some blame basically to go all the way around in the situation that we were discussing yesterday. There apparently is something lacking at, when the young man was being raised in the parental area, because he lacks accountability, he lacks taking responsibility, and wants to place blame on other people. And then for himself, again, he lacks accountability, he lacks wanting to take responsibility. He is a 26-year-old young man at this point. So in my position where I am and how long I've been working and things like that, being independent, I can't really accept a 26-year-old making excuses that their parents are the ones that's responsible for where they are in life. Again, I understand that some upbringing and stuff like that has an impact, and if a person hasn't been exposed to certain things that they don't know about, they're not going to know about them. So I understand that some of it could be some of the parents, but at the same time, 26, it's time to stop making excuses. It's actually beyond time to stop making excuses and take responsibility for your life being where it is because of the choices and decisions that you have made. So that's the long and short on that. Not going to get too deep into it. Like I said, we covered it on Ear's panel yesterday. We had a really good dialogue about it. We had men and women on the panel, different points of views, but all respectful. We're respectful of one another, even if we have, some disagreement. There wasn't a whole lot of disagreement yesterday. It wasn't one of those conversations because, again, I think most responsible adults would view this situation pretty similarly in terms of a 26-year-old wanting to blame his parents for the things that are going on in his life right now. And he's living with his parents, living under his parents' roof. He might be paying rent or something like that, but he's living under his parents' roof. So, yeah, you're gonna lose a whole lot of people on that one, brother. You're gonna lose a whole lot of people. It's time for you to get out from under that and stand on your own. But again, just a little conversation. Hopefully you all out there are raising your children where they're not going to end up like this young man, 26, still not only living off of you, but blaming you for their life not being in a different position than where it is. It's one thing if you are doing your children, you're teaching your children responsibility. You're allowing them to stay with you. You're allowing them to build up whatever, they need to build up. So whenever they do go out on their own, they'll really be on their own and not be coming back. That's one thing. If you're allowing them to build up their credit, build up their savings, they may have stayed with you while they went to school and they, let's say your child went to college, right? Traditional route. So they're going to be about 22 whenever they finish senior year of college. And then let's say they continue on and decide to go to law school or med school or something like that, right? So let's add another 2 to 3 years, right? Maybe even more. So if you're adding another 3 years to that 22, that puts them at 25, 26. So yeah, if you have a child who they didn't, go off and start their family, they just push straight through school from, all the way, went high school, 4 years college, and then let's say 4 years of med school, right? So yeah, that's going to put them at 26. So if they're still living with their parent and they're a doctor, that makes a little more sense. If they're trying to do things to cut down on student loans, so let's live at home rather than living on campus and taking out more money for housing, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So that makes sense. But if your child is 26 and living with you and does not have responsibility and is blaming you for their current situation in life, which is not a doctor, but really doesn't have anything going for themselves, doesn't have savings, doesn't have credit, doesn't have the mindset to take responsibility and take these things upon themselves, that's where it kind of becomes a failure on you in terms of what you are teaching your child. Because this person either going to be your responsibility and be up under you, or you're going to send them out into the world and they're not going to be a productive adult. So when you're coddling your kids, when you're giving them vacations, when you're giving them all of the trappings of life, I understand you want to give your child everything that you didn't have. But there's a reason why your parents didn't give you everything you wanted. In some situations, it's because they couldn't afford it. In other situations, it's because they know you didn't need it. They know you needed to learn to actually want for some things, to not get everything you want, to not get everything your way, even if they had the means to provide it. Because that teaches you something. If they made you maybe do some chores or do something to earn the things, that's teaching you something. whether they had the means to provide it to you without you doing the chores or not. They had to work to get what they got. So they should not be expected to just give you what they have. It doesn't work that way. And you got to make sure that your children understand that as well before you send them out in the world to become adults. So that's all I'm going to say, good people. That was the conversation we were having. Like I said, go over there and check it out. It was a good conversation. The conversation is still happening on some other places. So if you got something you feel like you want to add to it, hey, find you a channel that's talking about it and add to the conversation. It's a conversation that can continue to go on, not even specifically about that person or that person's situation. It's just a conversation that adults need to continue to have with one another because iron sharpens iron. I'm not saying that we're holding each other accountable in that way, but sometimes we do need a little bit of an accountability partner to say, hey, what's going on with that situation? And it just bring your mind to the forefront about it and maybe check on some things. Maybe recalibrate your situation because you have another adult that's seeing your situation and seeing that ain't the way that you normally handle things. So maybe you're getting a little bit off. So maybe you want to reel it in, recalibrate what's going on, and then push forward again. Until next time, good people, y'all make sure y'all have a wonderful day. It's going to be a beautiful day here in the 80s. Plenty of sunshine. Perfect weather for a garden, as long as you got it watered this morning. Until next time, good people, this is Iceberg. Salute.